So, wow, guys, I've really missed you, especially Alex.
Oh man, missed you too.
Oh man, I'm gonna come up there and hang out with you sometime. How far do you live from Ottawa?
2 hours
Uh,
driving.
Maybe I'll hang out with you next time I'm up there. Come in Ottawa.
Yeah, there's a big match coming up in winter.
I don't know
That
about
It's
is
all that.
indoor.
indoor.
Indoors is stupid. I don't like indoors.
Yeah, but it's a good one.
That's the Montreal thing.
Yeah, Montreal Indoor Challenge.
Okay. All right. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show, people. My name's Ben, here to answer your shooting questions. On deck today, we have Mr. Matt Hopkins. Say hello, Matt Hopkins.
Hello, Matt Hopkins.
And there's Snow Mexican Birdie. Say hello,
Yep.
Snow Mexican.
Hello, man.
Oh,
Snow
okay.
Mexican, whatever.
I don't know. I think that's a racist term, which is why I like it so
You
much.
call you call it whatever you want.
I will. All right, here's let's get to the questions because that's why people get on here. Here's my question. I assume you've been approached many times by shooters looking to be sponsored. As it turns out, I'm starting to get shooters approaching me to sponsor them as well. I should back up a little bit. This is a guy that I know who runs kind of a small business, like a cottage industry thing inside of shooting. I won't even bother saying what it is because it doesn't matter. I think it works the same for everyone. All right. As it turns out, I'm starting to get shooters approaching me to sponsor them as well. In each case, they inquired about the possibility of being sponsored, but did not provide any kind of proposal for what kind of package they're looking for and what my company could expect to get out of the relationship. Isn't that the way shooters get sponsored? Unless, of course, you happen to be someone like you or Max, where I'm sure you get approached by the company. We'll talk about this too. Have you ever sponsored someone without them providing a presentation on what they could do for your company? All right, so the shooter sponsorship relationship. Matt, how often do you get hit up?
Uh, since I've talked about on the podcast, actually not that much anymore.
Really? That's good.
Yeah, I mean, the marketing guys pass some stuff on to me, like to get my input on it. But other than that,
By
not too much.
matches or individuals? Mostly by matches for you, right?
Oh, probably 99% matches, a couple individuals, handful, maybe
Uh,
one or two a year. And like some stuff, so I guess you got to first decide how you're going to do it. Either like all out cash sponsorship, if you're going to do product, if you're going to do a discount code on a product. I mean, those are the three tiers of sponsorship, right?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose. It depends.
Can you think of any more?
Alex, I know you're on the well, actually you've been on the sponsored shooter side of the relationship. Have you ever been on the sponsor side?
No.
Okay.
Well, no. No, I've never dealt with that.
That's just a question. I don't know.
Yeah,
So I don't know. See, we have people here on both sides. I've been on both sides of the deal. Matt's been on both sides. Uh, do you think that people get sponsored by? Well, no, let's back up. So this guy's getting hit up by people wanting to be sponsored. Um, do you think the basic question of, hey, these guys aren't really coming to me with a deal or telling me what they're going to do for me or this or that. They just kind of hit me up like, will you sponsor me? What do you think about that, Matt?
I think it's pretty crazy. People actually think you can get away with that and like get sponsorship out of it because
Does
it's not going to be. It's going
does
to
it
be great for the shooter, but it's going to mean absolutely nothing to the company because you're probably not going to get anything out of it.
the company you mean?
The company is probably not going to get anything out of it. Yeah,
Yeah, where it's like, hey, will you sponsor me?
yeah.
You guys get the best bang for your buck, like sending a gun to an Instagram hoe or something like that, right? Like, let's be real here. That's better bang for your buck, right?
You get a lot more views on something like that than sponsoring a shooter. Yeah,
All right. I don't know. I feel like
That's
people.
just pure eyeballs on stuff, though,
Yeah, of course. Like
and
people.
breaking into markets that you actually aren't currently involved with.
I think
That's the
people.
biggest thing there.
I think a
Sorry.
lot of shooters like don't understand the value they bring, which typically is pretty low. Like I think they don't get that.
Well, they think their value is a lot higher than it actually is.
Huh.
But yeah, we just said the same thing, but opposite.
I suppose. Yeah.
Shooting sports is very small, even for a company like CZ, which actually kind of specializes in it.
Yeah, it's small.
It's still very small.
Shooting sports is like a very small part of shooting. You know,
Yes.
with that, if you go to shot, it's like 3% of it.
It's pretty generous.
Okay, it's 1% of shot, right? It's very
Probably.
little. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't really matter in those terms. And then if you want to like drive your brand inside of competitive shooting, it takes like you only have a few people you could go to do that, right?
It depends on the reach you want to get, right?
Well, if you want to like push your product into USPSA.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a handful of people that probably can get it throughout the whole country. But if you go on that thing where you get it to influencers, like I'd say anybody on the podcast here,
Yes,
or
there's
people that have big like social media following in the sport,
yes.
they can get it out there to more people than just some guy that goes and shoots matches. You know?
Yeah, so I have to tell you, I have never sent an email like this asking some company to get sponsored. Never. It's just not something I do or something I care about. But I have gotten them, and a lot of times, like the only way that I would sponsor a shooter, which we have done, when it's like a buddy deal. It's never like, I don't really care what I get out of them. It's not really about that for me, personally.
Yeah,
But-
but what would Tim say?
No, well, here's what Tim Myers would tell you, honest to
Yeah.
God, because we've had this talk a lot of times. He'll be like, listen up, fucker. Like, I have people who win area matches and people who've won national matches that won't even bother to email me. That'll go to Ben Steger Pro Shop and buy something. Like, they're gonna buy a Boss holster or buy this or that. Like, why the fuck would I bother sponsoring people?
Yeah.
That's what he would say. He may
That's
not
what he
say it
says?
quite that way, but oh yeah, we've discussed this. Like there like he'll have orders come through, and it'll be like some guy who won an area match, and it'll be like that guy will just order something. You know what I mean? So it's like we don't have to sponsor people because there's so little sponsorship dollars to be had that like guys who are really good inside the sport are going to have like spend money and buy things. But at the same time, he'll have like what Tim likes to do, what makes a lot of sense for him is to send base pads or send holsters to specific people. Like if you're a good competitive shooter and you have a big social media following, he'll like send you shit like dry fire targets or a holster or base pads with no like deal in writing, just so people have it in their hands, and they'll be able to use it, and then people will see that they're using it.
That's the influencer thing I was talking about earlier.
Yes, of
Like,
course.
If someone is known for a specific gun, say like, who the fuck shoots a Beretta or any of those? Oh, like
Less
Kwanzaa.
pepperoni.
Yeah, Les Pepperoni has a Beretta. He probably has the easy off base pads, doesn't he?
I don't know, but I'm almost certain that he does.
All right. Well, Kwanzaa Kim does, and he shoots Walther. So anybody shooting a Walther is going to see what he uses on his gun
Yeah, of course.
and say, "Oh, those base pads are what I want to buy," and they'll more than likely buy them because of
Yeah,
that.
but I guess the way to put this from a sponsor perspective, and like I am sponsored as well. What I can tell you is that you can be one of the top dudes in the country at shooting, and you are expect to foot most of the bill for the shit you're doing. Like that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So it's like there's not really that much money to be had out there, or that much stuff to be had. That's fair to say.
Yeah.
Like for me, I do not have sponsors cover what I do. And in fairness, a lot of that is because that's not the way I want to live my life. Like I don't really care to do that. It's easier for me. It's less effort just to go like work and then shoot. Like and not have people, I also understand that sponsorship is a two-way street. Like in order to get enough stuff, like money, product, whatever out of people to pay for my participation entirely would be a lot of work on my end to do that. And it's easier for me just to work on different terms and just exchange money for goods or services. That's just easier for me. I don't know. It's but yeah, so if I think this guy is getting back to the question, this guy's getting approached by a lot of people who just like, hey, will you sponsor me? And then he's kind of like, I don't understand why people would think that this is okay or think that this makes any sense. You know what I mean?
I think it comes down to, I think he needs to decide how he wants to market his company. If he wants to spend money on like advertising or do it as sponsored shooters with discount codes, product, or cash. I mean, cash is probably out of the realm of possibilities. That's pretty rare.
Well, it's possible. It just makes no sense. You know what I mean?
True.
Like you could give people cash, but like for cash, I could probably have 2 or 3 times the amount of product, like whatever it is you're selling. I could have a lot more stuff, and then I could send people the stuff with no arrangement at all, like just an informal, like, oh, here's some free stuff to a few people, get it to the right people's hands, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like then I have more stuff out in the world for the same amount of money that I could have given one person. And giving somebody money doesn't really do you much good. Not directly.
I mean, I was trying to think of a product that it would apply to. Maybe like a service, like, I mean, if there's a service like Practice Score out there, because you can't hardly give that away, really. But we don't have that kind of thing in our sport, do we? So.
Not really. Yeah, just, I don't know. This is the topic that people find endlessly entertaining. And it's like, the bottom line is sponsoring competitive shooters makes very little sense. Very little. I always get a little amazed if somebody's pulling any serious amount of product or money out of a company. I'm always a little impressed by that, and I feel like it would all be unethical for me to do that. Like if I go take like $40,000 worth of stuff from a company, like it would be really tough for me to deliver them that kind of value for that. It doesn't really matter what the company is.
Yeah,
You know what I
well,
mean?
$40,000 is a lot though. But like,
It's a lot of stuff, yeah. But I mean, this is me. Like I'm like if you're going to sponsor somebody for their shooting ability, I'd be on a short list of guys that you would do that for.
but I mean, I guess for the people, well, they need to. I guess they need to provide something. Like they need to sell themselves. For me personally, I never approached anyone to get sponsored. They approached me because they were like, I'd rather sponsor you because you are a good sportsman and you're gonna go talk to matches. You shoot matches. You're gonna talk to people, and it's gonna sell the brand just by being there. And for them, it was a good return of investment. And it just makes the brand like it's just some exposure, I guess. And for maybe a couple grand a year, so I guess it's a win-win. So you don't, but like I've turned down sponsorships for like $300 a belt or something. It's like, no, I'm not gonna put a logo on my shirt, prostitute myself for like a belt. I'll just buy that belt. It's like, sometimes people they want a sponsorship so much they're ready to accept like a 5% deal on something. And
Yeah.
it's like,
I've always said people will suck dick
Come on,
for a
man.
squib, Rob. That's just the way it is.
it's
will.
not worth it. And then you're stuck there. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
Also depends on what stage the company is in. Also, if they're a brand new company, they probably got to put more into this than an established company that people already know about.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
definitely.
I mean, sponsorship makes little sense kind of for either party at most levels that listeners to this are going to be able to get it. Like, you don't bring enough value to ask for much more than a squib rod. And if you're going to smoke pole for a squib rod, like, I just got to wonder, like, why you're doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
it's funny to see a guy like have a business in shooting. I think this guy's been doing in business for like a year, and he's got people hitting him up like, "Hey, will you sponsor me?" And he's just like, "What? Like, this doesn't make any sense." It's like, welcome to the shooting community, man.
People
And
who wants free
over
shit.
time, so like Alex said something about turning down sponsorship for a certain thing.
I
It's just way
have.
easier just to buy it, right?
Oh fuck yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you
yeah,
don't
it's
want
easier.
trouble of getting associated with a company, then you're stuck with it. You just for a belt. Come on, like the belt is just an example, but you know what I mean.
Like when I was
So we've talked
when I
about,
was shooting a
sorry.
Beretta, I talked to like a marketing manager, somebody who like they called me and talked to me. And it was kind of like, "Hey, you need any shirts or hats or anything?" And I'm kind of like, "No, like I'm good. Got plenty of shirts and hats." Whereas like, good, like what the fuck?
What,
Like it was,
Beretta stuff?
yeah, for Beretta stuff. Like for me, it's like I've got guns and I've got shirts and hats. Like I don't want to take stuff from you. Like, and then it's like I'm gonna feel like I owe you something for that. Like, no, whatever. It's like I don't know. It's like that sort of stuff doesn't make any sense to me. Just yeah, remember a couple years ago when Sig had this ginormous team of people.
Yeah.
And what was the deal? Like, we'll give you a gun and then you can be on our team. It's like I don't understand why anybody's taking that deal. I don't understand it at all.
It comes into the prestige of it.
I don't know. Like, but to anybody who knows what's what, that's not very prestigious. Just sort of silly, right?
Yeah, but the people that know what's what aren't the people that are trying to impress.
Yeah, I don't know that people are very impressed with that. It's just like, I mean, I've had people offer to build me a limited gun or something for free. Give me a limited gun,
Yeah.
as an example. I mean, but then if you sit and think about it, like, does that really make sense for me? No, because it's like, then I have to like buy a bunch of 40 cal brass, and it's like learn this new gun, and then I only have one gun. I want a backup gun. I got to buy that one, or it's like it's an enormous pain in the ass for me to do that. But on the surface, it's like, oh, it's a free thing, and most people don't say no to free things. No, and it doesn't matter how much sense it makes or doesn't make.
Yeah, is it free at that point?
No, it's not free. It's stupid. Yeah, Matt, we've had an interesting roster of people over the years that we've known
Yes.
that have been on the show or not or whatever. And it's like some people, like it doesn't matter how many times you explain it to them, like the mathematics of the situation, they just never get it. It's like they tell you the thing, like, you shouldn't take that deal. It's a stupid deal for you. And they're like, blah, blah, blah. They want to have a deal. And you explain it to them, and you're just like, after you talk, you're like, yeah, they're going to take that deal. And, they're going to do it. And then 2 years later, they're like, yeah, you're right about that, Ben. It's like, yeah, I know. But you're going to do what you're going to do. So, whatever. What's the moral of the story, Matt?
I think like his actual question was maybe like a shooting portfolio or something.
What can they, shooting portfolio, like, it's fucking crazy. Like, like, if I'm this guy, like I'm not going to say what business it is, but I know what he makes.
Yeah.
It's like $100 thing that he sells. It's a thing that you'll buy once and it's like $100. Okay, that's what it is. So if you're gonna like go to the trouble to make a portfolio to send that to me, like you're probably not the type of person that I want to give this thing to. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's like. Doesn't
Does
really
he
make
even
much
need to
sense.
sponsor people?
Fuck no, it doesn't make any sense.
It sells itself.
So, well, I mean, you send it to a few key people and, just
Yeah.
give it to them. Like, just send it to them. Don't even like have a formal sponsorship deal. Give it away to them, and just kind of see what happens. That'd probably be the smartest thing to do. Man, the sponsorship shit's crazy. Has this gotten better or worse with the industry taking a complete shit in the last year?
In Canada, it's been better. Well, there's more sponsors than there was like when I started shooting. I remember.
Your
like,
industry has not been affected by this though. By the
yeah,
U.S.
it
election,
was.
has it?
Oh yeah, it was.
Really?
Yeah,
Doesn't
'cause
make any sense to me.
we couldn't get any primers, powders, just because the components were all sold out in the US first. So we couldn't get any in Canada.
They're not going to export it if they can't even sell it here.
Yeah. So yeah, a couple of years ago it was hard, but then now it's like they don't know what to do with it. They have too much.
I think the only thing that's changed is companies are finding it harder to sell stuff, like guns specifically. So they got to get their name out there and being shown.
Yeah, but I remember when I started, it was like 2012, 13. I had my friend who was sponsored for a year for the World Shoot with CZ and was sponsored with like some bullet company and did really good at the World Shoot, came back, and all the deals were just like, we won't renew anything. It's just like, it was a one-shot deal. And it's just like, at that point, sponsorship ended almost completely in Canada. They were just like, yeah, we don't need to sponsor people with CZ guns. We sell them like hot bread. Like we just sell them like all the time.
Bread.
So I don't know.
No,
People like hot bread in French
The
Canada.
one-liners for a
Second
second,
show.
English as a second language is just funny coming off. But the second one you've done
I just
this
translated the
podcast, so
expression right there.
yeah, exactly.
Whatever. But yeah. But
hotcakes.
I don't know.
Sound like hotcakes.
Okay, hotcakes. So yeah, but no, I don't know. The sponsorship deals, like a lot more people are getting sponsored nowadays. Even Temfolio sponsors some shooters in Canada. CZ does it as well. It's just
What's CZ?
That's a trigger.
Oh, I think they're looking for it. They're looking for one. But I know my friend got asked, and he said, "Fuck that." But
Oh,
That's right.
yeah, because
Stupid CZ
he
shooters.
didn't need a new gun. He had a gun already. So
Hey, if you want to win U.S. nationals, Canadian nationals, you want to win a world shoot, you only need one thing, and that's a Tanfolio. That's what history's taught us, right?
I guess so.
What do you think about that, Matt?
it's true.
I mean,
Usually hasn't
it's
won a
a fact.
nationals. I mean, or a world shoot in
It's a
production.
fact.
I just thought I'd point that out.
It's I know that.
No, CZ won a couple of war shoots. Two actually.
Production?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
2005, 2008.
Yeah, when Adam was on the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's like even.
Uh,
Got anything to add?
I don't. I mean, it's always a fun topic for people because there's like a lot of guys that like to get sponsored, and then
Oh, they just want the free shit. That's it.
yeah, they do want free shit.
Nothing's free.
It's true. It's a true story. Okay, let's move on to the next question. This one's directed at you, Alex. I have a question for Alex the Snow Mexican next time he's on. How does he keep his live fire skills sharp while he is hibernating in his igloo? Canadian winter makes range time a premium.
Yeah, well, I just shoot indoor. That's it. I have my indoor club range is pretty well, it's totally IPSC friendly. So I train there. I think I train static and I do mostly fundamental work. So I'll just do static drills and sometimes a little bit of movement when the range is like pretty quiet.
Do you feel
For the
like
rest,
you get stronger during the winter?
I get stronger at just shooting, the timing of the gun, just the fundamentals. Yeah, I might lack a little bit with the movements, but I try it. I mean, I train at it in dry fire at home, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, my shooting get like pretty solid during the winter, and as soon as summer comes up, I'll just go train outside and train more movement. But yeah, training indoor, that's the key.
Well,
I don't know. It
I
works for
feel
me.
I feel like it's about as cold as you where I live. I have access to an indoor range now, and I choose not to use it.
So what do? You train outside
Where's the
still?
southern hemisphere?
No, no, I
You
shoot.
just don't train?
Well, I train. I do dry fire, physical training. I load ammo. It's like I don't like shooting indoors. It doesn't really do much for me. Like I still get stronger at shooting. I work on a lot of stuff at home, and I get better. It's just then I kind of hammer on it for a couple days of live ammo. I can shoot a couple thousand rounds up in a couple days when I want to get in season, and it kind of works out. So
Yeah, it comes back quickly actually.
yeah,
Right now I'm pretty much experimenting, just working on my trigger control and accuracy. So it's always trying to improve. So yeah, uh, it's the off season, so I shoot less, but yeah.
yeah. I don't know. It's not bad to keep shooting. It's fine. It's like an off season or changing it up a little bit at least is kind of good for me. I think I don't really get an off season this year. It's kind of fucked up because of the amount of time traveling in warmer climates. It's like I'm kind of smoked. I don't get an off season.
Yeah.
Sucks to be me.
Yeah.
I feel bad for you.
Do you feel bad for me? Do you really? I appreciate that. Um, Ben and the merry group of retards. What do you think about people who grip the pistol with their weak hands, finger on the trigger guard? I don't think he means it this way. Not like he's not asking what I think about the people. I'm sure they're fine people, but what do you think about the technique? Hopcakes.
I have no experience with it at all, so I can't really add to this.
Yeah, you can. What do you think about it?
I wouldn't train somebody to do it now,
Why not?
like because it's hard. I have no experience, so
I think it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where if I look at a dude, I have people come through classes a lot, and it's like if I have a dude doing this, like weak hand index finger on the trigger guard, if he's shooting okay and he grips it the same way every time, I really don't care. I think it's fine. It's totally okay. As long as you're gripping the pistol the same way every time, like that's fine. It's like the reason that most people don't do that is it's just harder to learn. It's the same as like curling you start to roll your fingers up under the trigger guard, you know? So it's like you got two fingers under the trigger guard, like grasping the bottom of the trigger guard, and two fingers like on your hand, like gripping your firing hand. You know what I'm talking about, Matt? Can you imagine this? Like you kind of roll your support hand up the gun. Yeah, something like that. I view that the same way. It's like if people grip the gun the same way every time, it really isn't going to matter. But finger on the front of the trigger guard when people are doing that inconsistently or like haven't really settled on a way to grip the gun, that is a problem. And I think the easiest way to do it is just to take your support hand and run it on the bottom of the trigger guard, stop there, and then wrap your hands together. You know what I mean? Like that's just the easiest way to learn it. When people are gripping the gun the same way every time, they're not going to have a problem either way, I think. What do you think about that, Alex?
Yeah, and just the regular way works with every gun. So I mean, it's just
Oh yeah,
more
yeah. People
simple.
don't like it if they have the rounded trigger guard.
That does make sense. Any gun you pick up, you can use
Yeah.
the normal grip without doing that index finger thing.
Yeah. Man, but what do you think of the people gripping their gun that way? That was the
It's
way
the
the guy asked it.
choice. But actually, I don't know. Some people are doing it for the wrong reason, just because they saw some top shooter do it, and
Yeah.
they're just gonna do it as well, but they don't know the real technique behind it.
Is that
The
a wrong
push
reason
pull.
though?
I don't know. I mean, they'll put
That's
the
the
finger
only
up
reason to do it, isn't it?
to be like the
It
top
doesn't make
guys.
sense to do that, though, does it?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. Like if you look at all top guys and you kind of take a survey, most like 95% of them don't do that. But on some level, like when somebody gets into the sport, the easiest thing to do is like, hey, who are the top guys? What kind of gun do they have? Like what's the stuff that's on their belt? What's their holster like? You just buy all that shit and then emulate what they're doing. And so, like that would be your starting point, right? You know what I mean? Like so it kind of makes sense on that level.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah, you can do it, but I don't know. Just experiment it. I tried it, I think, just to see how it was, and I didn't like it. And someone told me you really gotta try it and persevere about it with the technique, and eventually it becomes natural. Well, just gripping normal feels natural right away, so I'll just keep doing that.
I like how you refer to it as like just gripping normal.
Yeah. Well,
Good
I don't know,
call.
with the index under, all the fingers under the trigger guard.
Makes sense to me. All right, guys, another Bang Up podcast. Thank you for coming on, Alex, Matt. Listener people, if you have a shooting question you'd like the answer to, go to bensteger.com, send me your question. Love to answer it. All right. Yeah, good.